Did you know that every minute of your life counts? Did you know about 90% of our people are ignorant about issues concerning their health? Join the program, Our Health, for better understanding of holistic healthcare, prevention and management, understanding the comprehensive basis of healthy living, knowing national policies on safe health, how to use the available resources at the sporting times of sudden illness, promoting good healthy living habits, promoting good healthy living environment. Join our Health Talk live on Super TV, Channel 10 with your host, Jarausi Joe. A pleasant welcome to another edition of Our Health. There is a 30-minute television program that makes you to understand the holistic healthcare, prevention, and management. And then we also give you a basic understanding on government policy as it relates to health. And then we focus on preventive measures relating to our own health, how to live a healthy lifestyle. So today we'll be having another fascinating discussion on today's addiction. So we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by our guest in studio today, who will elaborate on hypertension, how it affects us, and those things that we need to avoid doing in order to come in contact with hypertension. So today, don't change your channel. Keep listening to Super TV Channel 10, and I'm your host, Jarasi, is Prince Joe. So we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by our guest. Did you know that every minute of your life counts? Did you know about 90% of our people are ignorant about issues concerning their health? Join the program, Our Health, for better understanding of holistic healthcare, prevention and management, understanding the comprehensive basis of healthy living, knowing national policies on safe health, how to use the available resources at the sporting times of sudden illness, promoting good healthy living habits, promoting good healthy living environment. Join our Health Talk live on Super TV, Channel 10 with your host, Jarausi Joe. Welcome back. So, welcome in studio. Welcome to our health platform.
Thank you so much, Joe.
How was the weekend?
Relatively, the weekend was okay. I had some time in Grand Bassa County where providing education to young people enrolling at the community college. So that's
So how was it?
basically, it was all okay.
And that's accounted for.
Yes,
You're
yes.
only accounted for. Okay, that's good. So can you introduce yourself to our viewers? So
Oh, basically, let me say thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure being on our health. And thanks to Spoon FM management for such a wonderful setup. Well, by the way of introduction, my name is Samuel Davis. Samuel Davis, I'm the mental health clinician by profession. I'm a registered nurse and I also hold a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing from the Adventist University of West Africa. I worked currently as the officer in charge, uh, the Legend Healthcare Center in Painesville, and I also do teaching service at the community college in Great Bassa County. I'm also a student at Media Aid Foundation with emphasis in health related issues.
okay.
So this is Samuel Davis.
Wow. So to our viewers, see, so today we have someone real strong in studio. So today discussion is gonna be real great. So keep listening. Don't change the channel. Keep listening as we bring you the full discussion. So today we'll be discussing hypertension. So can you tell basically what is hypertension?
So hypertension, in other words, it is called the silent killer. And the simple way hypertension is described in Liberia or globally is called high blood pressure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that is hypertension. And high blood pressure by science, we mean the way in which your heart, it's a special way the heart's supposed to circulate the blood in your entire system. So there are there are conditions in which the speed at which your blood is supposed to circulate in your system it, it increases. So the extra force that the heart will need to circulate the blood through your system, that's why we refer to as high blood pressure. The speed at which the blood travels. How is that speed? That's why it's remember high blood pressure, or in other words, hypertension.
Okay. So, basically, what are the causes relating to hypertension?
So there are several causes relating to high blood tension, but they are in two categories.
Okay.
One, we have the modified, and we have the non-modified. When we mean by modified, there are conditions, there are things technically, either knowingly or unknowingly, you are responsible for that is leading to high blood pressure.
That is a lifestyle.
Yeah, for your lifestyle, for example. So, in a modified one, the food you eat play a very important role in leading to high blood pressure. These are something we call risk factor. All right. Uh, Substances you take in, these are things that lead to high blood pressure. That we look at, we classify as the modified version of high blood pressure, the causes of high blood pressure. So what you eat, uh, what you consume, the number of, when I mean what you eat, those food that are filled with a lot of fats, you
Okay.
know, that are filled with a lot of fat. Like in simple terms, we say too much of oily food, you know, the art of consuming the palm oil, the ray oil, the palm kernel oil in excess amount, and the body is unable to break those fats down to be consumed. So if these things accumulate a lot in your system, these are ways, the person is predisposed to hypertension.
That is excess fat.
Yeah, excess fat in the body. And another one has to do with the non-modified one, the second step, or which you get. That is not yourself. It has to do with age-related issues. So the older you turn, the weaker your immune systems, the weaker your body able to, function well. So for example, somebody who is 30 years old and somebody who is 65 years old, the way in which a 65 years old man had a pump is completely different from how a 30-year-old man have a pump. So the blood vessels get constricted, they get narrow. Age related alone can cause high blood pressure. So the older you get, the risk of getting high blood pressure is high as compared to how young you are.
Yeah, okay. You're talking about the age range. We found out today a lot of young people have been diagnosed of hypertension. You think what the cause?
So hypertension, unlike other diseases, they are age specific.
Okay.
For example, malaria is not tied to a particular age. Once you are exposed to the parasite, automatically and you get infested, it enters your bloodstreams, and care is not taken, you get sick. You start presenting with malaria.
Sure.
So that is not in relation to high blood tension. High blood tension, you will barely find people between the ages of 1 to 29, 18, 25 developing high blood pressure because they have more physical activities. You see them moving about, you see them walking, you see them into sports, you see them into some gymnastic activities. But because of regions, because of where we find ourselves in the low, middle income countries,
Yeah, sure.
where poverty is on the increase, people are not applying to health related issues, people are not checking out, and people are just moving about finding what they want to get. So in that context, you find more young people because the daily the food that we eat, we're not measuring anymore because it's like survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
So in
So
low
we consume
yeah,
any
we
kind of a
consume
food.
any kind of
Yeah.
food, and we don't exercise, we don't take in, we consume substances like alcohol, tuberculosis. These things are prevalent in low middle income countries, countries that feed on less than $1 a day. Sub-Saharan Africa, for which Liberia is no exception. So people in that category tend to fall prey to hypertension because they consume things that predispose you to hypertension.
So, the let's say your lifestyle
Your
can
life
lead to
can lead to
hypertension because
hypertension.
we found out that a lot of young people they are involved in so many uh, unhealthy activities.
Unhealthy activities. So
So
yeah,
it leads
you're
to
consuming alcohol at an early age, and alcohol plays has a negative effects on the body. Definitely, it leads to hypertension. You consume tuberculosis, cigarette smoking, tobacco rather, and all of these things has a role to play. We eat at any time, and any amount of food. We just need energy.
okay.
So for example, at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., you consume a giant bowl of rice because that's the only thing
Yeah.
you will afford that day.
Yeah, sure.
And once you generate energy, it is the body responsibility to break down
To
this
break down the
energy.
energy, yeah, sure.
But when the energy is generated and the body is not aware to break down the energy, definitely the body has a way of changing the energy into fats. It stores that. So the more the fats accumulates in your body and you are not burning it down, it has a tendency of blocking the blood vessels. Yeah. So the way in which you have to pump the blood for the blood to flow freely, it doesn't work that way. So there is a distraction in the pathway of the blood. So automatically it forces the heart to exert more effort so the blood can go because the blood is life. All of the cells, all of the body organs needs blood because it provides energy, it provides oxygen. And those cells in our system feed on oxygen to multiply and do the day's work. So when these cells are not getting oxygen through the red blood cells, automatically the heart is on obligation because that is the role of the heart to supply.
Yeah,
It
sure.
is on obligation to push the blood into the body. And when it is done excessively, then you are leading to high blood pressure.
So, do occupation plays role in getting hypertension, like your working environment?
Sure, sure. Yes, it will be restricted to some specific occupations, like people who are not mobile. When I mean not mobile, people who are confined to one environment, like
Yeah.
maybe a receptionist, a secretary, somebody working in a tailor shop. Though they must seem to be doing some physical activities by peeling the machine, but somebody will sit for over 6 7 hours,
Mm-hmm.
into one position. This type of activity that does not allow you to walk around, so the heart can, pump. And if the heart is not pumping regularly as expected, because when you get into acrobatic activities, into jogging, into walking, these things help your life. But if you are, confined to a particular environment on a continuous basis and consuming too much of trans fat or fat that is not necessary for your body, it is a tendency to lead to high blood pressure.
I mean, just in a one position
You just in a
working,
one position,
not
you're not
moving and
moving.
thing.
And aside from just in a one position walking, there are a lot of people who find it very difficult to do a little bit of walking. So from the horse in the car, from the car, instead of using the steps way, to allow the heart to beat a little bit, the more the heart beat, the more the heart distribute blood to all body. The more you are able to burn down fats the body has accumulated, the more you are able to break down bad cholesterol in the body. So if the heart, you just from your car, from your horse in your car, from the car in the elevator, from the elevator, you are not using the stairway. Even to go for lunch or 5 minute distance, you can't walk the distance.
Mm-hmm.
1 minute, everything is motorbike,
Yeah.
keke, car. These things are predisposing you, are leading you gradually to hypertension because you are not breaking down the sugar that your body has already generated. Or the
So
fats of
exercise plays a lot.
exercise plays a very pivotal role in working with high blood pressure.
So what are those health problems that are associated with high blood pressure?
So high blood pressure, it can be in two ways, the problems. So one, it can happen as a result of inducement, or second, it can be a comorbid. So comorbidities, inducement could mean you are having high blood pressure as a result of certain conditions, right? So maybe uh, I owe somebody a money, people who credit from the bank, and then business did not go well with me, you know, and then the bank is requesting what I took from them, and I cannot produce that. So that excess stress that I exert on myself, you know, and definitely when you are stressed, you won't consider your activities, you won't consider what you eat, what you drink. You don't care, you always confine yourself. You sometimes say you don't want to eat, you don't want to do the normal activities you do. In that range, if it continues, with the type of choices you make in terms of diet style, in terms of healthy lifestyle, and you develop high blood pressure in that category, it is referred to as hypertension induced, right? So your hypertension you have is as a result of the extra pressure the bank is exerting on you. So once you solve that bank problem, that particular form of hypertension is gone because you are done with the problem, the problem that the bank has placed on you. Under the comorbid, most people you find with the diabetes and other conditions, they are closely related to hypertension. right? So once you announce of diabetes, the tendency to worry is high. So you have that palpitation, your heart start beating faster. You keep worrying about it, you keep worrying about it, you keep worrying about it until it develops. So most of the people, they are in those who have diabetes.
Diabetes, yeah.
You see, they're always having hypertension. They are diseases that walk in line. Even if you treat the diabetes, the hypertension is still there. If you treat the hypertension, the diabetes is still there. In that case, we call comorbidities because the two diseases move together.
So, like in our region today, you found out that most of us don't really go to hospital unless we are sick. So, how can you realize that you're developing hypertension?
So it's a very fine questions because the type of system we have and the regulator in the sector, I really don't know how they're doing it. You will see the multiplicities of drug peddlers. You have people all in the street selling medications. You have drugstores all over. So anybody who experiences some form of headache, chest burn, fast heartbeat, they just walk to the drugstore and say, "My head is aching." Automatically, the dispenser will give that. But the best way forward is to always seek medical care, to seek a health professional. So I cannot look at you by your physical morphology and just tell that you have high blood pressure. Maybe there are some, I could have a clue by some things you present with. But the scientific approach available is to do your high blood pressure using the BP curve, the blood pressure curve. So it has it is calibrated in a way that it tells that this person is having a normal high blood pressure or this person is having a abnormal pressure. So only the BB curve and through the training of a medical professional can help you know
So,
you
what's
have.
the normal range for let's say the pressure, the normal pressure, the normal BP, as
So
you
the
related?
normal blood pressure varies. It varies per age, it varies per gender,
Okay.
between male and female. It varies per, like I said, age. So standardly, the standardized high blood, the normal high blood pressure reading is measured between 90-70. So
1970.
yes, it's measured between 90-70. It's measured between 120-80. It's measured between 100-80. It measured between 120-100 and 110-90. So any number below, for example, like I said, age, all right. So somebody who is 35 years old or 25 or 30, based on his body size, weighing over 50 kg. So if you do that person the BP, which is the blood pressure, using the BP curve, and then the reading is telling you 90-70 for someone who is 35 years old, that BP is abnormal. It's not normal.
Okay.
But if you're doing a BP with someone between the ages of 15, 17, 18, either a male or female particularly, you will find that BP might be normal between 90-70 or 190. Okay. If you're doing a BP for an elderly person between the ages of 65, 50 and above, and you are reading 140, 150, anything above 130 upward is becoming abnormal.
Abnormal.
It means you are getting a risk. It means the pressure exerted in the walls of the arteries for which the blood flows is becoming so high, and it should be regulated either by medicine or by healthy lifestyles.
So, you were talking about drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me come back to you're talking about drugs. Is there any drugs that raises or side effect in you getting hypertension?
Um, Research is still working on that, but there are other. I would not really want to bluntly put it as yes,
Okay.
because there is this issue about diversity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the way malaria, how they call it, amantadine, for example, which is a anti-malaria medication, will treat me. It is different from how it will treat you. So, but these medicines that people take to stimulate them, you know, uh, for example, if you were taking let's say a drugs, a narcotic substance,
Mm-hmm.
all right, the hallucinogens, the heroines, you know, uh, the how you call it, those tramadol,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Technically, tramadol it was made, hmm? It was made for pain reliever. It's a pain reliever. But now people are abusing this medication because the side effect of that,
Severe pain
yes,
relief.
severe pain reliever. But people are abusing, young people now are abusing the medication in the form that the side effect of that medication plays on the central nervous system.
Okay.
So it has that ability to induce, uh, it has the ability to induce that feeling of numbness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it plays on your, you don't feel, you know. So when they take it in excess amount, in that category, if you take in excess amount, that will cause you to slow down your activities. You're not moving, you're not exercising as regularly, then the potential for developing high blood pressure as a risk. Technically, it might not be the medicine is causing it, but because the medicine has stopped you from doing a particular thing you're supposed to do, is a risk factor of leading to what high blood pressure.
I mean, you're not number.
You are not normal enough. You know, your activities has been stalled, your activities has been blocked, and then you are not doing what you're supposed to do in terms of exercise. So that medicine is a potential risk factor for you developing the condition.
Okay, so folks, we will take a short break for us to continue this discussion on hypertension, and I hope every one of you is getting glued and learning something here today. So, Mr. David is going to be giving us or telling us those preventive measures that we need to take in order to reduce the risk of us getting hypertension. So we'll take a short break from our sponsor and partners, and then when we come back, we'll bring you the closing edition of the show.
Did you know that every minute of your life counts? Did you know about 90% of our people are ignorant about issues concerning their health? Join the program, Our Health, for better understanding of holistic healthcare, prevention and management, understanding the comprehensive basis of healthy living, knowing national policies on safe health, how to use the available resources at a spot times of sudden illness, promoting good healthy living habits, promoting good healthy living environment. Join our Health Talk live on Super TV, Channel 10 with your host, Jarausi Joe.
Welcome back. So let's join our guest in studio for us to continue this discussion on hypertension. Okay, Mr. Derry, welcome back.
Thank you.
So now we basically gonna look at those preventive measures that we need to take in order to reduce the risk of getting hypertension. So now let's look at our diet.
Okay.
What are
So
those diet that you think will be necessary that will follow? It will reduce the risk of getting hypertension, or those diet that we shouldn't consume.
thank you. There is this I want to stress before going to the management and prevention of hypertension.
Okay, no problem.
So generally, you know, like we said, high blood pressure or hypertension is age related. So mostly people who tend to develop high blood pressure, particularly, I want to put in context, in sub-Saharan Africa,
Yeah.
because of the huge amount of poverty we experience, you know, these low middle income countries, you know, you see most of the diseases are they are prevalent in our country because of the tropical areas, the things we eat, those habits we involve with. You know, we are now exposed to good medical cares. We ingest all type of carbon monoxide,
Yeah,
different things affect us. You know, so if you are experiencing some of these things, in the morning, for example, from the age 30 to 79, you know, people in that age range, they are most likely to start to develop high blood pressure or hypertension from age 30 to 79. Like somebody was telling me in Liberia, you know, it's not scientific, it was just a cracker, you know, it's
Yeah.
an energizer. If you are 30, you have achieved the age of 30, you don't need an alarm clock to wake you up in the morning. Once you reach the age of 30, because the problems these days, they are so enormous
Yeah, sure,
that at
sure.
the age of 30, You have your own alarm because you'll be, how am I going to start this morning? I'm going to start. So you
Feed
don't
my
need,
family, all
yeah.
that one.
How am I going to manage? I need money. I need job. I need this. I need that. People are compounded with lot of, you know, competing priorities. So there are so many things you want to do at once. So the moment you reach the age 30, you are sufficient enough to develop high blood pressure. So once you start getting the early morning headaches, for some reason you just see blood coming from your nose, to nosebleed.
Yeah.
Nobody punch you, nobody hits you, and you see the things start happening. Eh? You see your heart burning, your chest burning, your heart just beating faster. You're feeling weak, you're feeling tired. So, but what is
Severe
happening to me?
headache.
Severe headache,
Yeah.
especially in the morning hours. It starts to happen to you. The best thing you can do is to find a professional healthcare worker to help you. Go to the hospital and know your vital signs, because if the WHO started to report that one in every five persons are the only ones who know that they have high blood pressure. So every five person you will find with high blood pressure, four of those five persons don't even know that they have high blood pressure. More than 48% of those living with high blood pressure, they are not even aware that they have it, because they have not made no hospital visit, they have not done no vital signs. Either are people There are people who offer vital sign services in the marketplace. It is not meant to generate money. Say, don't pull anything on me. I'm not interested in it. Do it. Whenever you see somebody's offering vital signs, the person should just be able to read the accurate number to you.
To
The
you.
person should know what they're doing. Go and know your vital signs, because it helps. In the facilities, there are people who come and say, "Oh, I'm just feeling tired. I'm just feeling weak." The moment you take your BP call and take the pressure, you will realize that person is seriously hypotensive.
Mm-hmm.
And in a matter of time, you see the person vomiting. You see the person complaining about headache. These things induce hypertension. Is not a child's play. That's why people term it as a silent killer, because the more the blood pressure elevates, it tends to bursting the capillaries, the arteries. These are, in simple terms we say wire, because there are variety of people listen to the shows. So if I speak the medical terms, they may
Yeah,
not
so
have it.
yeah, no, no, very
So these
understand.
are veins that the blood passes through, to supply all the organs. So the more the blood pump, and the basic organs that benefit from the blood is the brain. So when the heart exerts a lot of force and the blood circulates, it bursts the capillaries, it bursts the vein in the brain. The tendency to develop stroke and other heart failure, other major thing happens. Yes. So to prevent, coming to your question, in preventing it,
Mm-hmm.
is to I was just rolling on some of the things you be
Yeah, yeah,
aware
yeah,
of.
yeah.
You
It's,
know,
it's, it's, it's
the early
important. It's
morning
important. It's
headache,
important.
the nose bleeding, unnecessary weakness, you feeling fatigued, you feeling tired, you feeling confused. All of these things happening at once to you, or it happens every other day or sometimes a week. Go and seek medical treatment. It will help. So in terms of prevention of hypertension, it has to do with lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can prevent it if you don't know that you have it. So for the fact that it has been established that you have it, you gotta deal with healthy lifestyle. Like global statistics is pointing to low middle income country because of what we have. The poverty level is so high. It's like a survival the fittest situation.
Yes.
So to
Anything
live
that
a
comes our way, we
yeah, to
sponsor
live a
it.
healthy lifestyle, it's a kind of bit challenging. You know, to just tell someone say you gotta cut down the number of carbohydrate you take in, because from carbohydrate you have a lot of sugar, a lot of glucose in the body, a lot of fats. The type of food we eat a lot of red oil, we eat a lot of alcohol, we eat a lot of mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things, they are trans fatty, acid, fats, trans fat. That when we are not able to exercise enough to break these things down, they accumulate. And when they accumulate, they find their ways into the blood vessels, making the blood very thick to pass. So you have more cholesterol developing, more bad cholesterol. The body needs cholesterol to produce new cells to help the body break down all the issues. But when there are more cholesterol developing based on what you eat, the tendency to make the blood vessels narrow for the heart to flow freely, it becomes difficult. So first is to live a healthy lifestyle. You know, do your exercise. For example, as an elderly person, Sometimes we make like 20, 30 minutes phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go jogging to go live a healthy lifestyle. If you can just walk in your room
Yeah,
five
sure.
times, to just allow your heart to beat so you can sweat a little, it's a form. If you're on the phone talking,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you don't need to stay on the phone talking. You can just walk in your environment, it helps a lot. While you're on the phone, you be walking from one end of the post, whether you're in your post, in your living room, or in your room, just walk around in the room until you end that conversation. That's another way. You can just do an early morning stroke before going to work. Even if you're at work, and then where you have your lunch, it's like 2 minutes walk, it's like 3 minutes walk, even if it's like 5 minutes walk. You don't need to ride motorbike or keke or get in the car to see the driver. You yourself can just use the steps waves. Just climb the steps, come down the steps, and leave the elevator. Even though the elevator is intended to enhance mobility, but the more you exercise a lot, it helps you. Market women, people who are selling, they just confine themselves down, especially those provision stuff. Just sit down
Yeah.
the table the whole while. Sometimes just circulate around your tables. It helps a lot. That's one aspect we can. So the food we consume, that's one. We should also practice to eat some fruits. You know, these fruits have nutrients in it. They have things, minerals, nutrients that can help the body fight off some of the fat. So the more vegetables we take in, the more fruit we take in, meaning the cucumber, some of the vegetables like the watermelon, all these things help a lot. Plums, the corn, you know, these are basic things you eat at time. You should not have your diet filled with all carbohydrates. It should be mixed with proteins, minerals, all of the things will help you a lot. So if you live by these things, you begin to cut down, you begin to monitor your blood pressure on a regular basis, the tendency of you living long is well on course. But if you are being diagnosed of hypertension, and if you are not living a healthy lifestyle, you are not practicing, you are not stopping smoking, you are not stopping drinking, and say, oh, that women sickness,
Yeah.
automatically you'll go ahead of us.
Okay. So, let me speak from a clinical endpoint since you are a clinician.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, when I'm diagnosed as a hypertension patient,
Okay.
so how can I manage it? How can I manage, my lifestyle in reducing that to my normal
Normal style, right?
normal status?
So first thing first is to always monitor your pressure. All by yourself, you can say, okay, since I wake up in the morning, my pressure is, since they told me yesterday my pressure is normal, it means this morning it is normal. So like most people, they have this digital baby cuff. It is affordable. You find a health practitioner. If you are far away from the clinic, you find a health practitioner. You set the red battery. You are wearing the red cuff because the more bigger the cuff is, the tendency to give you false reading is possible. The most tighter the cuff is on your hand,
Mm-hmm.
if the cuff does not fit on your hand well, and it is placed there, the tendency of having a high blood pressure is high. So you should always wear the red BB cuff on your hand. It should not be tight. It should not be big, that will slip off. So once you find a red practitioner to help you monitor your BP in one aspect. When you go to the hospital, the healthcare professional will advise. You know, we can tell you say don't eat this, 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 because we are now with you. Instead of all helping you, we will harm you. So we advise on cutting down, on these things you consume, especially for example, consuming too much sodium. Sodium is found in the regular salt we eat on a daily basis. The more salt you consume, the more fluid is kept in your body. And when there are more accumulation of fluids in your body, the tendency of you lead to, because you will put the kidney under pressure to expel that fluid. And all of these things, as a result, the normal oxygen that's supposed to flow to some of these things are not coming. So the heart too is under pressure to put more blood into the system. So cutting down on the amount of salt you eat, will help you a lot when you are being diagnosed of hypertension. Another thing, taking your regular regimen. Some people are non-compliant to medical treatment. So you are placed on a particular medicine for specific reasons, and these medicines are in categories. So some of the medicine will help to open the blood vessel because it has been constricted, it has been thin. There are more grease, let me put it that way,
Yeah.
sitting in the blood vessel.
Okay.
So that particular medicine you took, the reason the man gave you that medicine, the doctor, the dispenser, the pharmacy gave you that medicine, the work of that medicine, it will help you open the blood vessel. So the blood cannot flow, cannot be funny a way difficult or impossible to flow. That one of the things the medicine will do. Another medicine will help you to reduce the pressure on the heart. Another medicine will help you. I really don't want to need medicine to say take,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, 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 Atenolol or the HTC. I don't want to name the medication because I've already named them anyway. But it is such a program. People will not want to say, so, oh, the member on the show,
Yeah.
you call the medicine in, so
So
I go
yeah,
and buy the
possible that
medicine.
you go to
Go to
the
the hospital
hospital.
and the healthcare practitioner will tell you which medicine to take and why you are taking the medicine based on scientific investigations on what you presented to them. So these things will help you your exercise, your living a healthy lifestyle, and be compliant to medication. So if you are told to take the medicine 2 times a day, take it. Don't say, okay, I take it in the morning. When I come back tomorrow, I will just put the 2 tablets together and take it. Or some people, the moment they take the medication and they start seeing improvement in health, they tend to forget about
Yeah.
the entire treatment
Yeah.
protocol. They just leave it and start to live their normal life again. At the end of the day, the sickness will come in a more forceful way because the person has managed to reduce it. But then what you've done to yourself has not been able to help. You are being non-compliant to treatment. You are not exercising anymore. You just eat any hour of the night.
Mhm.
So most times they will tell you, say, when it's after 6, you don't consume too much carbohydrate. Don't just grab a whole big bowl of rice and just eat it. You know, just eat small. That will help you and go
Now,
to bed because
I know one thing like bread
your
now.
body is not able to break down the fat like before.
Yeah.
So for the fact that you reduce the tension on it in your exercise, you tend to live a longer and healthy life.
So, like, a lot of people have complained that, oh, since I started my, since I got on the drugs,
Okay.
it had imposed a serious harm to me. So, is there side effect in taking the hypertension blood drugs? I mean,
So technically, yes. Any medication you take for that reasons will have side effects. they, it will have side effect because the body is adjusting to that outside substance. It was not made with your body. So it is a new substance coming to your body. For the body will take time to adjust to it. So the side effects are of less harm to what the sickness is causing you. So for example, some people will take some medicine, they have a little bit of chest burn. All by itself, it can get better. Some people take the medicine, it will induce sleep. You're supposed to sleep, but you just sleep. You get sleepy, you feel a little bit dizzy, you feel nausea, you feel like vomiting, but you're not vomiting. You know, at a particular time, it will stop. But once it turns to be an adverse effect, then it's becoming a problem. So if I took the medicine to stop high blood pressure, and then I realized a particular medicine the doctor gave me to stop my high blood pressure, it is causing me to bleed. And I'm supposed to bleed. That is the adverse effect. I took the medicine and I start seeing rash coming on my skin. Itch coming all over my skin. My skin just keep itching, itching, itching. Then it is an adverse effect and not a side effect. So the side effect will just last for like maybe one day, 1 hour or 30 minutes or 5 minutes upon taking the medication. Sometimes if you are hungry and then you took the medication, for example, to reduce the pressure, the more the pressure gets lower because the medicine comes with taking eating. So you must eat. The medicine must be that resistant to be able to work. So if you are not eating and you were told to take maybe 2 tablets or 3 tablets and you are hungry and the medicine work is to reduce the pressure, automatically the medicine will reduce the pressure. But the more the pressure gets reduced, the more disadvantaged you are because you're hungry. And instead of you being able to move about, the pressure gets more lower and it starts to cause problem for you. So most healthcare practitioners will advise that you eat before taking your medicine, either before or after. You either take it and eat, or you eat and take it. But you don't take the medicine, say, okay, my 10 o'clock I will eat. And you don't be on hypertension medicine and you be fasting. You know, we know that spirituality plays a
yeah,
lot.
religious people.
Yeah,
Okay.
religious belief, but you can't be on hypertension medicine and at the same time you're fasting. So All of these things play a particular role in people's life. If you are fasting for religious reason, uh, tell the pastors or the imam or your religious leader that, oh, spiritually or biblically, I'm being diagnosed of high blood pressure and I want to participate in the church exercise. So can you advise me on what to do, because the doctor is saying that I should eat. And someone who fast will last for like 3 days, like 12 hours. So if you have to take the medicine in the morning, and because you are fasting, so you will break down the protocols, the regimens, that particular effect, it won't make no use to you say the medicine is not good or they have potential thing that wasting. You know, like you get malaria, you can get hypertension. So people, the traditional belief people, when most people get sick and they don't seek treatment, they tend to go to other means to find solution. But the best way out is to seek a professional health care that will help you.
Okay, so before we take leave of you, Mr. David, is there anything that you want to add up that within, who I wouldn't ask?
So thank you again, Joe, for the invite, and we hope that we'll have another time to be here. But
Yeah, sure.
there are
Most
there are
definitely.
a few things that like so hypertension is not just an old person sickness.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
it runs in families. Yes, it's inherited. So you can born in a family of hypertension, and it runs in your family as well,
Mm.
right? Like diabetes, you know, all of these things happen to people.
So
Unlike malaria,
hypertension is related to.
yeah, it can run in family.
Oh,
That
okay.
one aspect. The second aspect to that, hypertension is a global concern to the extent that there is a special day set aside to celebrate, to create more awareness on hypertension. So every year, May 17th
Mm-hmm.
is World Hypertension Day.
May
That
17th.
yeah, May 17th, every year it is World Hypertension Day. That day is set aside to create awareness, to take your normal BP, to provide education on what to take, what to do, what not to do. So most time people don't follow the health related things because uh, our system is so polarized to the extent that every time you turn on your radio, you listen to politics, politics,
Mm-hmm.
politics. So the need for providing health education, is something that we cannot resist. It's something that we should encourage. And I think this platform, it means a lot to a lot of people. You
Yeah.
know, there are silent listeners to some of these programs you won't know. Not everybody interested in,
In
what they did at
politics,
capital billing,
yeah,
who is
sure.
celebrating this, who is no, no, no. People want to know how they can find health regimen. So the WHO has started, and I just want to roll this out. Uh, they have put hypertension into perspective that about 1.28 billion people
Hmm.
are living with hypertension. So 1.2, and most of that number are within the low and middle income countries. So country like Liberia is a low and middle income country, a middle income. So you have more people with hypertension in Liberia as well in these regions as compared to developed world. Even though in developed world they are there, but they have the right technology available to help them to detect it easily. They have the best healthcare system to help them. They have the doctors. They have the best of treatment protocols available for them. Unlike us,
Yeah,
we
sure.
don't have these things available. That's one aspect. And of that amount, it is estimated that 46% of those people don't even know that they have hypertension.
Sure.
Yes. So don't say, since sometimes you hear that, oh, the man was sitting in the car, the man went to bed,
Okay.
he just died.
Yeah.
Say, oh, I just spoke with him yesterday, they made myself talk good. People don't know that they have it. Somebody sitting in the car and say, oh, I was, the 2010 World Cup, and there was the time where Asamoah Gyan missed a penalty against Uruguay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody was telling on a story that they the kind of energy the elderly, the deceased,
Mm-hmm.
while he was alive. His passion for African qualifying for the next stage of the semi-finals of that tournament was so high, and his favorite team was Ghana. When Asamoah Gyan missed that penalty, even though I did not see him,
Yeah.
but it was something that was the only trace they could find for his cause of death. It had just, he felt so frustrated that excitement he had for Asamoah
Yeah.
Gyan to score did not happen. And the moment Asamoah Gyan missed that penalty, he just gradually, immediately just fall off. Before they could rush him to the hospital, he was gone. You know, a personal relative of mine in 2014, while on the telephone communicating with that person, and they said, "Oh, there is this virus in the country, and it is killing whole household, killing everything, Ebola."
Yeah.
And so it came to the attention that when they told us, "Oh, we are collecting all of the children from in town and bringing them on the farm," my grandmother died. Yeah, she was not sick. She had nothing. Only to tell us, she said, "Oh, you mean the sickness? So that fight,
Yeah.
you know, people don't know that they have this condition living with them. So once there's a trigger, anything terrifying happening to them, it puts the heart under pressure to push more blood. And once blood enter the brain, you see arteries and capillaries. The capillary connects the artery to the veins. All the thing blood passes between them. So once the thing try to burst and the blood try to waste, you don't have the technology like I hear we have one neurologist here. So somebody living way might give you when you were kind of GFE, when they will prepare you, you know, my CH Renee cannot tell that if there's a brain trauma, CH Renee cannot heal it. So automatically you will die. So most people are living with hypertension. They're not aware. And that's why make it a silent killer. Because you just wake up, you see the man die. Why kill the man? The cause of death is unknown. Because of this stress-related issue, hypertension is a very serious medical condition, and it is incumbent upon every other person to do your vital sign at least twice a week or once a week. Go know your pressure, know your temperature, know your respiration, know your pulse, know all of these things so that you may know where are you and what to do in the event where you're being attacked or exposed by these conditions.
All right, thank you. So, this is how we would like to come to the closing of today's addiction. Many thanks to our guest in studio, Mr. Davis, who make us to understand hypertension and those steps that we need to take in order to prevent us coming in contact or getting hypertension. And I hope our viewers are taking down notes that we'll be able to apply them in our daily lifestyle that we'll be able to get rid of the hypertension. So many thanks to our producer, Melvin Modern, for producing this edition, and many thanks to our sponsor and our partners. And we are also open up to sponsor or partner anyone, local health center or whatever. You can be a partner or sponsor of today's show. So once again, I'm Gerasi Israel Prince Joe, your host, and come again, we'll bring you another edition, and we'll bring you another fascinating discussion on our health. Thank you for viewing. Bye bye. Thank you, Chief. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Did you know that every minute of your life counts? Did you know about 90% of our people are ignorant about issues concerning their health? Join the program, Our Health, for better understanding on holistic healthcare, prevention and management, understanding the comprehensive basis of healthy living, knowing national policies on safe health, how to use the available resources at a sporting times of sudden illness, promoting good healthy living habits, promoting good healthy living environment. Join our Health Talk live on Super TV, Channel 10 with your host, Jarausi Joe.